Hey everybody, Mark over here at Twanger's Turntable. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you're returning, you know the drill. So yeah, back for another video already. That's two in a pretty short succession here. That's pretty rare for me here at Twanger's Turntable. But I've got the time, so I figured I'd do another episode of my recent pickups to show and tell here for Nobody's Vault But Mine that I had started. So anyway, without further ado, let's move on. I'm going to start off with one that I showed in the last video, but it was sealed, so it was kind of a pleasant surprise when I opened it. But it's that Stars Violation, and when I opened it up, found out that it was that gold, yellow, translucent, transparent vinyl. So it was kind of a pleasant surprise, and you know, it's pretty decent. It's not as good as some of the other Stars stuff I've heard, but it's okay. In fact, I mentioned on that last video that Cherry Baby was probably the most popular song. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. It's not really in my wheelhouse, that particular song. It's okay, but there's some other songs on here that for me are way better. So it's a good one for what I paid for it. That's fine. I'll take it. Got nothing bad to say about it. That's for sure. Just wanted to show that one. It was a pleasant surprise. I mentioned that to a couple of my BC buddies there in the video. And then a couple of more used ones I'm going to start off with that are not new to me. I should shut that damn fan off. Where was it? Yeah, so there's a few used vinyl I picked up here. I'm going to show before some of the new ones I picked up. And I have been familiar with all of these. I guess there's 1, 2, 3 used ones. That I've known about pretty much my entire life, but I've never owned on vinyl. And these were in a $5 bin or a $3 bin. They were relatively inexpensive. A couple of them are not in the greatest shape. I've spun them. And the first one is not even necessarily something that's really in my wheelhouse. I just remember it in the mid 80s, whenever it was it came out, 85, 86. And my buddy Mike over at MGK showed this one recently. So it's Georgia Satellite. I guess it's just a self-titled. Should have my cheaters on here so I can navigate through these and not be blinded. Yeah, Georgia Satellite. Just the one with Keep Your Hands to Yourself. I guess that's probably the big one. But yeah, Mike was showing that recently. And so when I came across it through that bin, I figured, well, I'll grab it for what they were asking for it. There's no inner sleeve or anything with it. But so that's okay, because I always put them in these polyline sleeves anyway, and then the outer sleeve, clear outer sleeve. Speaking of these clear outer sleeves, I don't know about you, but there are different types of outer sleeves, obviously many different types. These ones are crystal clear. I like these ones. I've been using these ones for quite a while, probably 2 to 3 years. Having said that, I've got a pile of these other ones. Maybe I'll just grab one and I'll show you, because I don't know what to do with them. So there are these ones, you know, they're clear, but they've got that film, that milky film to them that, you know, just for protecting your records, it's fine. But because I like to display a lot of my records, I prefer the clear outer sleeve. So yeah, anybody might be interested in some of those. I've probably got about 300 or 400 of them. I don't know how much, to be honest with you, but there's quite a stack over there. So let me know. We'll work something out if there's something that you need. Next up is Santana Abraxas. I don't know if this is Santana's debut. I don't know Santana's catalog all that well, but of course this one's been around forever, and it's always been in my, you know, in life. And the vinyl is not in the greatest condition, but it is on that nice red Columbia label. I like it. 360 degree sound stereo. So I'm suspecting that's probably if not an original press, pretty damn early on, because you know, not much longer after that, I don't think they emphasized stereo that greatly. It was just a standard as opposed to the exception to the rule. But yeah, I mean, it's the outer sleeve is in, you know, decent shape, the gatefold, and it's classic Santana for sure, if you like that kind of thing. And I definitely do dig this album for sure. But yeah, it's not in the greatest, but it's not terrible either. I would grade it maybe as good to very good. Like, the quiet parts are pretty lots of crackles and pops, but glad to have it nonetheless. It's not something I probably would go out and buy a reissue of. I'm not a huge Santana fan, but I'm glad to have that. Another one that I believe is a debut. That's the King Crimson that everybody seems to have, and I have had it on other formats. An observation by King Crimson in the court of the Crimson King. Yeah, easy for me to say, but it's not the gatefold. It must be in reissue, but it's a good one. Obviously, most people are familiar with this one. I would suggest definitely worth checking out. And like I say, being that it was a 3-year, I forget what it was, $3 bin, $5 bin, either scenario, and I'm talking Canadian, not US, so that's relatively inexpensive. So I've added those to my vinyl collection, so that's good. So now I'll get on with the new vinyl I picked up in this past, I guess it's safe to say now it's at least 9 months, because well, here we are in towards the end of July. So cheers everybody, I'm gonna wet my whistle. Yeah, it's starting to get pretty warm after shutting that fan off. I don't have AC down here, and I don't know what it's like in your parts, but when it gets warm here, it tends to be pretty damn muggy. Lots of humidity. So we'll start off with Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. I mean, most metal fans, I think this is a mainstay in most collection. This would be the reissue from 2020. I don't know. I think it's 2023, to be honest with you. It might even be more recent than that. It's the white and whiskey brown marble vinyl. Hell, it might even be 2024, because it would have been the later part of 2024 when I picked this up. So, but there it is. Many of you have probably seen it. Rest in peace, Vinnie Paul and Dimebag, you know. But this is a classic album. Always dug this album. Love that one. That one came out in 1990. That one, I remember that one. I've got that one on. I've had that one on CD since it came out. So, next up, I wrote a couple down here because I was not familiar with them previously. So another thing I want to touch on here, it might seem that some of these shout outs I give are maybe they get tiresome for some. I only do it because these people have influenced me in some way, and most of the music I find now is I don't do any other type of, well, I mean, I stream music, but and I might hear something by accident, but honestly, if I see somebody showing something in the vinyl community, a lot of time that's my gateway to some of this stuff. And so that's why, and because I just like these people too. I mean, that's got a large part to do with it. So I'm going to mention a couple other people that maybe seem to be mentioned quite a lot. But that's just the way it is. It's my channel, it's my video, and that's how it is. So the next one is Such a Thing, and it is a band called Havoc, and this is New Eyes. It's just an EP they put out in 2024, I think it is. Like I said, I put my notes. Yeah, it's 2024 EP. These guys are from Denver, Colorado. They were formed in 2004, and it's got a couple of cool covers on it. One such cover is Metallica, so Eye of the Beholder. That's an amazing song in itself, and to hear somebody else do it in the thrash genre is pretty cool. And then there's an old CCR song in here, Commotion. Is it Commotion? Yeah. Commotion. Do. So yeah, Brett over at Headbangers Closet showed this probably a month or two ago, and as soon as he showed it and was talking about it, and then I saw it for cheap on Amazon. I ordered it and got it. So this one I would have got fairly recently, probably a month or thereabouts. Yeah, it's a really good. But it's only an EP. I've streamed some of their other stuff, and definitely somebody that I would be into. So I don't know how many albums they have. So yeah, Havoc, good thrash. And then another one is a similar scenario where I seen another one of my buddies in the VC show this, and he was tipped off by Emma over at what is it? Is it 8 Vinyl Low? I've watched a couple of her videos, and she was in part of the big MGK VC bash in Buffalo, and I think Trevor said she tipped him off to this, and it's a band called Misfire, and I guess these guys are from Chicago. Product of the Environment. and it's on a pretty cool green black splatter. If you like thrash, again, and this is kind of a throwback to the 80s, 90s thrash, I guess. I hate doing these comparisons because it's not a review and opinions vary. I'm well aware of that, so it's very subjective. What I say, it may sound like, may not be what your ears hear, but I definitely like it. Where are these guys from? I said Chicago, right? So yeah, I wrote down the notes on this one because, like I said, I'd never heard of them. Chicago, this is their first label debut under the label MNRK. So yeah, they previously had a self-released album called Sympathy for the Ignorant. So if you want to check them out, I definitely recommend them. If you're into metal, I think you would dig them. I don't know if there's anything inside here. Yeah, there was just a lyric sheet inside. So this would be a fairly recent pickup too, because I saw Trevor show it, and then I streamed it, and I said, "Yep, definitely," and I ordered it because it was a relatively inexpensive one as well. So glad I did. Thanks, Trev. Thanks, Emma. Good stuff. Just set that over the side. I don't have to put those all away right now. And then we'll get into some stuff that I am much more familiar with, and for the most part, I've had these other albums in my collection in other formats, just never on vinyl. Next one is One Such Case, Accident of Birth by, you all know him, Bruce. Whether that's Samson or Mr. Dickinson from Iron Maiden. So this would have been 1994? Well, no, is it that early? 97. This is 97. Let me see. It came much later than Tattooed Millionaire and Balls of Picasso. Who am I kidding? Need glasses. I know this has got Adrian Smith on it, and that's after he left Maiden. Yeah, Adrian Smith. And a funny little tidbit about this is Derek Riggs, who does did most of the album art for Iron Maiden, also did the album art for this one. And he's done a lot of album art though. That's not that unique. He did stuff for Budgie back in the day, so it's got these nice inner sleeves. This is one of my favorite Bruce Dickinson solo ones. It's a really good one. But I like them, yeah, I do. I like them all. I hesitated there for a second, but no, there's none of them that there's none of them that I dislike. Some I definitely like better than others. But I would suggest, and I am a huge Maiden fan. They're probably my favorite band of all time when I think about, the catalog of music they put out. But as far as some of the stuff that Maiden was doing around that time, nothing against Blaze. Good for what they were doing. He's much better than Wolfsbane, if you ask me. This is better than that Maiden stuff, personally. But it's a good album. See, check it out. 1997. Good pickup. Next up, Budgie. I was just talking about Budgie. So this was an EP they did in 1980. If swallowed, do not induce vomiting. For the longest time, it wasn't available. It wasn't reissued. It was available, obviously, early on, but not a reissue. But yeah, there's only like 4 songs on here, I think. Yeah, side A is Wildfire, High School Girls, Panzer Division Destroyed, Lies of Jim, The E-Type Lover. And so yeah, rest in peace to Burke Shelley. This is a great band out of Wales. Yeah, this is a good EP, a really good EP. I would definitely recommend checking it out if you like Budgie. Next up, another old classic that I had way back, just on a blank cassette that was copied by a peer-to-peer is what we used to do, copy cassettes. You all know, those who are old enough. But yeah, now this is the 2022. There are 2 reissues available. The 2021, where all the tunes were re-recorded, and this one, the 2022, where it's a reissue and allegedly taken from the original recordings. So it's got Harris on vocals and whatnot. So Lightning to the Nations, Diamond Head. Metallica fans, many others, will be quite familiar with this. Some people bitch about the cover and not a big fan of the art. I don't really care. I mean, I dig it. I see what they're doing there. It's the audience they're trying to reach is probably going to be metal fans, right? These guys influence so many metal bands. And so side A's got Lightning to the Nations, The Prince, Sucking My Love, Am I Evil? Kicking off side 2 is Am I Evil? Sweet and Innocent, It's Electric, Helpless. So, you know, like right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that you would, 5 songs you would have heard Metallica cover at some juncture. So if you're into Metallica, and it's got a pretty decent inner sleeve here. Yeah, there's the boys there. And I think, you know, I think it sounds great. Has it had something taken off the high end? I don't know. For the sake of maybe the low end to give more bass to it, I guess. But I'm not an audiophile type listener of music. I just like to put the stuff on and feel it. So I'm not over analyzing stuff. I mean, obviously, if something sounds shitty, it sounds shitty. To me, this does not. So you know, that's subjective, but yeah, it's a very good one. 2022 reissue. Different cover art than most Diamond Head fans will be familiar with. That original white cover, you know. It's classic. And yeah, I would like to have that. But go check out Discogs and tell me you wouldn't settle for something like this as an alternative, because to me it sounds great. Sound-wise, it's fantastic. So yeah, the original Sean Harris, Duncan Scott, Brian Tatter, Colin Kimberly. So they're all on here, and it's not a re-recording like the one that was done in 2020. That's the 2022 reissue. Next up, Canadian band here, Sword. This is their debut, Metalized. These guys are actually just outside of Montreal on the South Shore area, I guess. But this came out in '86. It's decent. I remember these guys were touring. They were opening up for Alice Cooper on, what did that tour have been? Was it Restrictor? I think it might have been around that time, 85, 86. But yeah, they also toured with Metallica on the Master of Puppets tour, so it had to be 86. So yeah, it's a good album, good rocker, probably best known for Stoned Again. Yeah, Stoned Again, good rocking tune. So if you've not heard them, I do recommend checking them out. Maybe stream them or whatever, maybe it's not your bag, but it's that classic 80s metal. It's not hair metal, it's heavier than that. It's got a good heavy, it's kind of like almost like biker metal, you know. I'm not crazy about some of these sleeves. This is the one I came on. It's got that resealable strip on it, so you got to be careful you don't catch your album art on that. But it's not the best for showing here. It doesn't lend itself well for that because of the shine on it. Very glossy finish, kind of a cool blue finish on the inside. I think there was another inner sleeve. Yeah, I put it inside here. Okay. And it just shows different shots of the band around that time. But it's good. They did a follow-up on this, I believe, somewhere towards the end of the decade, maybe around 1990. I don't recall the name of that, but I'll put that away later. But decent stuff. And a couple here to close it out. This is the album that introduced me to these guys. That would have been around 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. But it's Mastodon and Crack the Sky. Take that out of the sleeve. It's not going to matter if I take it out of the sleeve because I still have the shrink wrap on it, but I'll do it anyway. It's got that hype sticker. Crack the Sky, the new album from globally revered hard rock masters, Mastodon. Because sound matters. Yeah, okay. Came with this inner sleeve here. And this was the album that got me into these guys, and I just yeah, I don't necessarily like all their stuff equally because I've said it before. Sometimes when these metal bands and they get into the growl and stuff like that, it's not really, you know, something that moves the meter as much for me. It's just good, clean, hard rocking vocals. But whatever floats your boat, you know. But I definitely like this album. And I may have showed this next one on a live stream. But yeah, this one was 2008. This would have been their fourth album. And so I've been adding vinyl of theirs to my collection. And then the Hunter, this one would be more recent. Well, 2011, I think it is. So I don't know how more recent that is, but it's a good one. I think Mastodon is one of those bands people either love or hate. I don't know. So I'll just say thanks for tuning in, everybody. I do appreciate it. If you're new, I hope you'll find something you'll dig. You'll stick around and do all those things for the algorithms that I don't necessarily pay a hell of a lot of attention to, but they're there. And one more cheers before we go. All right, now that's it for sure. Enjoyed doing this one. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I appreciate you coming along and watching and doing it with me. And so the next one will be episode 6. I might even get that one done before I head out on holidays. I'll be heading out here at the end of the week. Heading down to Prince Edward Island. Here we come. Taking the grandsons and hitting the road. So looking forward to that. But I might get in another episode before that. We'll see. Time will tell. Don't hold me to it. Take care. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and sharing on my last video, whatever, all the videos. Really do appreciate it. See you on the next one. Cheers, everyone. Take care.